Today we're going to be looking at Lunar Tides in the color Smoky Purple. So my swatches are labeled 1 through 12, but that's not supposed to be synonymous with hair levels. Since I do different video clips and such, the numbers just help us keep track of each swatch. Also, my swatches are not virgin hair, which means they've been chemically colored, treated, or bleached at some point in their existences. So 1 is green, 2 is a gray, 3 is a medium natural red, 4 is a soft black, and then 4 to 11 is a range that goes to platinum blonde, and then 12 is like a toned version of number 11. So we are going to start by taking the color directly from the container, and we're going to put it at the very top of each swatch. And then some people do like to dilute their dyes, so we're going to do a diluted version at the bottom of each swatch. Please keep in mind, everyone's hair is different, which means everyone's hair can take color differently. Plus, different screens and monitors can make colors look different. So please just use my video as a reference for how this could possibly maybe turn out for you. For the diluted section, we are going to do a 4:1 ratio. So that's 1 part of the color to 4 parts diluter. And if you're not sure what diluter is, it's basically something that lightens the color of a semi-permanent dye. Some brands, they do make diluters that you can use to mix together. And those can be nice because it'll keep the same consistency. And it reduces the chances of it getting patchy as well. But because I do so many different brands, I'm using a plain white conditioner as my diluter today. I'm gonna let these sit for an hour. I will then rinse them out, and when they're dry, I will meet you back here and we can do some comparisons. So even though I do see a difference on the majority of my swatches, I did want to remind everyone that these swatches are not virgin hair. So virgin hair tends to be less porous, which essentially means it can struggle to not only take the color, but hold on to color. So even though there is a difference on my swatches, I actually personally think this color would be better suited for as light of hair as possible. Having light to medium blonde might be okay. You can definitely see it on these swatches over here. The darker blonde swatches, the lighter brown, but they just look so much less purple. Obviously, if this is the intention you're going for, that's totally fine. I just don't know how well it would stay, because that's something I've noticed too, is that colors that are inherently more dusty or smoky just aren't as pigmented usually. And I also want to point out that sometimes lately I've been having problems with especially my platinum blonde swatch, turning out a lot lighter than the ones around it. My theory is that the company might be mixing in synthetic hair. So this could be a representation of how it could turn out for you if your hair isn't very porous. It's not necessarily wrong, it just doesn't seem to correlate as well with my other swatches. So if you have hair that is more porous, I do suspect that it probably wouldn't be as dark as 10 and 12, but would definitely be darker than the 11. But we can still see the overall undertone, so hopefully it's still helpful. So I would categorize this color as a medium to dark, very dusty, very cool undertoned purple. It actually seems to be one of those colors where the lighting definitely changes how it looks too, because before I had this really bright lighting on, I could see a lot more of the purples coming through. Maybe even in warmer lighting like sunlight, you could probably see a lot more purple. But in this current lighting, to me, it's turning very gray, which just shows how cool an undertone it really is. Back to the coverage conversation. If you are planning on using this as diluter, again, I definitely think that would be best on platinum blonde hair. It did take on the number 10. Again, it looks very gray on 10, 11, and 12, but it looks the most intentional over the number 11, where it's not really splotchy and it covered very well. This does seem like it could be a really good toner. So if anyone's tried this as a toner, let us know how that went for you. And I do like to talk about the colored swatch as well. So the top half, the direct dye portion, I would say covered the green. I don't know if I would say it looks purple anymore. The before and after clips that I do are in natural lighting, so we might be able to see a little bit better how much purple's coming through during that portion of the video. And then for the diluted section, did not cover any green. Like the undertone's a little different, but that's about it. So if you have a lighter green this might cover, just use your own discretion, because again, colors like this aren't always the most pigmented. And as I usually say, do a strand test. So my first comparison I'm gonna do within the brand. I don't have a lot of colors like this, but Lunar Tides has a handful of black dyes with different undertones. So I thought we would compare this to their black dye that has a purple undertone. So this is Lunar Tides Magic Salem, comparable to number 12, comparable to number 11, number 10, and comparable to number 9. So in my opinion, if you are looking for a kind of smoky purple that's a little bit more pigmented, I think using their Magic Salem to lighten it up to get a nice smoky purple would probably be a little bit better of an option if you don't have like platinum blonde hair especially. Now I'll say next to the direct dye portion, I can see a little bit more purple coming through for the smoky purple. But then when we look at the diluted section for the Magic Salem, we lose that a little bit. So again, smoky purple is a very cool tone. I wasn't actually expecting it to be this cool toned. It definitely holds the smoky part of the name, that's for sure. But even though it is quite dark, it's obviously not as dark as a black, which is why I kind of put it in the medium to dark category. And when I was looking at Magic Shadow, that one definitely was too blue to compare. I felt like the Salem did look a little bit more similar, even though it is obviously more warm in comparison to the smoky purple. So I actually completely started this video over because my initial comparisons were going to be more purples. I was trying to find purples that shared a similar undertone, even though this is way more dusty in comparison. But now that I have my bright light on and I see just how gray this is, I decided to go in a different direction for my comparison. So this next comparison is also technically a black, and it is Manic Panic in the color Blue Panther. So this is comparable to number 12, number 11, number 10, and comparable to number 9. If you're wondering why both of my comparisons are black when you're thinking of the direct dye portion, it's because when you lighten those up, they tend to be a little bit more smoky. I don't really have many, if any, other smoky colors on their own. Not a lot of brands go that direction, but hopefully you can see the undertone of this is actually a lot more similar. While the Blue Panther does seem to be a little bit more blue than purple, it almost leans into that purple territory just a little bit, making it probably my most similar comparison as of right now. But I do imagine if I were to dilute the Blue Panther again, it probably wouldn't look as gray as this. I think it would hold a little bit more of that blue. And obviously on the direct dye portion, it's much darker. But the point of this is to help you decide what you like, what you don't like. So hopefully this still helps in the long run. All right, now I am ready to do the before and after clips. Again, that's going to be done in natural lighting as well as any pictures I might take after this. So hopefully we can see a little bit more of that purple coming through.
Baby, you got me going oh so a storm that's under the sun. I'm unknown to the one I love. Play it out, baby girl, I'm no liar. No doubt, baby, you got me wired. Thought I had it all figured out. 1 foot forward as I break down. I know you're tired, broke down. I know we tried, found out it was never meant to go that way. Nothing comes as easy as they say. Love bites and breaks. Things I can't bring myself to say. Getting caught up in your mistakes. It wasn't how you planned it now. It wasn't how you had it hanging through your head, baby. Nothing really matters, so they say. Nothing ever falls in place, baby. You know I do. Fall into you. I fall into play it out, baby girl, I'm no liar. No doubt, baby, you got me wired. Thought I had it all figured out. 1 foot forward as I break down. I know you're tired.
So I really hope my video helped. If you have a request, I do have a link below to a Google form you can fill out. Just remember, I only do brands that do not test on animals. Thank you so very, very much to my patrons, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.